Yes, within 5 seconds, you're sending our IP to your Chomo net. Within 5 seconds, I know, we see you, Chomo, we see you. We can't help but see what you're doing. Look, it's frozen, bro. That's what your scripts do. It doesn't do some magical behind-the-scenes thing, dog. You done?
Whatever might go down, we gotta survive that.
So,
whatever might go down.
Yes, keep freezing her. That's good. Bombard our IP address with packets. That will be the way to hide the fact YouTube's given you the IP address. Harpsichord, yes. So, this was the track I was trying to play at the end of the last day. Every time it's anything educational at all, this fucking idiot flips up. So what I found interesting, all I was going to mention, the CB radio at the front of the thumbnail of this video is tuned to channel 19. I know, complete was B19, COVID-19, channel 19, all completely unrelated. G-Lock, G19, that's another one. That's 4 completely unrelated 19s. These nuts.
We gotta find that. When you get inside, you know that I'm back. That's where I put your mind at. Disaster hit. Don't you get trapped in it. You must always stay prepared with your disaster kit. In the club, you might be drunken, so you may laugh at it. But when you sober up, you know it is what you have to get. Stay prepared. Never be fearful or even scared. These natural disasters cannot be compared. So rise and realize you will survive. In the meantime, prepare yourself with these supplies. Get coils of rope and coils of wire. In a waterproof container, put all your fire. Like matches and candles, and don't wear sandals. Get some hard boots and work gloves to handle this situation. Cause when disaster hits the nation, you and your family gonna need your medication. Antibiotics, aspirin, the chronic, even health foods like vitamins and garlic, pain relievers, inhalers and breathers. And make sure you got something that can take down a fever. A spray bottle of water with 10% bleach, so you can disinfect the objects you reach and stick in the bleach. Here's what I teach. Don't think that you can drink the water from the beach. You're gonna have to drink that water from your hood and purify your water to make sure it's all good. Put things in order. Put 8 drops of pure unscented liquid bleach into the water. Use only 8 drops for every 1 gallon you working. You'll need about 5 gallons a person. With no water, things can get lethal. It's dehydration, not starvation, that kills people. So look for the water first. Don't be robbing and looting.
So, how many times in a row can we? It takes 2 fucking straight minutes. My Wi-Fi is 2 meters from my phone. I cannot get on my own Wi-Fi. Every fucking time I press something on the screen. Oh, wait, let's hesitate. Let's lock up. Let's put 3 other things underneath and pretend you clicked on them. Over and over and over. This is how these people roll. They will never change. They will never lose their obsession. If somebody targeted your child, be aware they will never, ever let go of that image of your child as somehow being their property that they own, that you owe to them. And they will kill you to get at that child. This is what we're going through now. This goes all the way back to the fucking 80s. Why you think fucking gangbangers gonna roll over and take this shit? I'm supposed to be angry. I've now been sitting here 45 minutes not smoking my joint. I'm supposed to be angry.
We gotta survive that. We gotta find that. When you get inside, you know that I'm back. That's where I put your mind at. Disaster hit, don't you get trapped in it. You must always stay prepared with your disaster kit. In the club you might be drunken so you may laugh at it, but when you sober up you know it is what you have to get. Stay prepared, never be fearful or even scared. These natural disasters cannot be compared. So rise and realize you will survive. In the meantime, prepare yourself with these supplies. Get coils of rope and coils of wire. In a waterproof container, put all your fire, like matches and candles. And don't wear sandals. Get some hard boots and work gloves to handle the situation. Cause when disaster hits the nation, you and your family gonna need your medication. Antibiotics, aspirin, the chronic, even health foods like vitamins and garlic, pain relievers, inhalers and breathers. And make sure you got something that can take down a fever. A spray bottle of water with 10% bleach, so you can disinfect the objects you reach. And speaking of bleach, here's what I teach. Don't think that you can drink the water from the beach. You're gonna have to drink that water from your hood and purify your water to make sure it's all good. Put things in order. Put 8 drops of pure unscented liquid bleach into the water. Use only 8 drops for every 1 gallon you working. You'll need about 5 gallons a person. With no water, things can get lethal. It's dehydration, not starvation, that kills people. So look for the water first. Don't be robbing and looting and stealing and killing. That'll only make things worse. Be smart, plan ahead, save some cash, a radio, some gas, and some blow beds. Keep your disaster kits high on the shelf. Put your weapons. You might have to defend yourself. Get a flashlight, chemical light sticks, a Polak, a compass, some dry food, maybe a road map. Don't forget things like peroxide and Listerine, bandages and antihistamines like Benadryl. So when things get ill, you will survive because you really got skill. You opened your eyes after you got your list of supplies. Check your attitude. Know that you're gonna survive. Whatever might go wrong, we gonna survive that. Food, clothes, and shelter, we gonna find that. When you hear this sound, you know that I'm back. Hey. That's where I put your mind at.
I'm too deep in the game, I'm too deep in the game. I came up long way for the fortune and fame. My mind on my money, with some paper days. This music's in my veins, and I'm married to the game. I jumped up in the game, and now I'm getting money. These bitches feeling laughing, thinking that the shit is funny. But I'ma blow a sky, hundreds in their face. These hating motherfuckers see that I'm getting paid. I'm rocking up the show, I'm tearing up the stage. A young foreign chopping out, I came a long way. And I ain't turning back, so fuck what you say. Cause every day struggle makes it hard to maintain. I slowly learn the business, I'm killing up the game. A lot of people say you change for the fortune of fame. I'm too deep in the game, and I ain't turning back. My pen and my paper stays in the strap. Cause like the days a lot of people said I couldn't rap, but now I'm pulling it up, tearing up every track. These people hear my music, man, they say that shit's some rap. My music moving through the hood just like a dirty strap. Man, I'm too deep in the game, man, I'm too deep in the
So in an hour, we've covered 6 minutes. Wow. I'm supposed to feel bad about this. Apparently, we're the most attacked stream on this fucking thing. Okay. I guess that just means everybody have to watch it in the past tense after the live is over, I guess. Remember, the audio, the dead air, the no sound happens at the ends of the video. So when the sound cuts out, skip to the next one. There you go. Problem solved, eh? Keep it fucking simple. I'm supposed to care. I'm so oppressed and persecuted, buddy. We just kill people like you.
Whether you like it or not, I hold it down from my block. Done that. That's where I'm raised, done, that's where my body rocks. The industry don't wanna see me kicking doors, believe me, cause it gon' be like nothing what you see on the TV. I'm gangsta, and you gon' learn when you see me. Bullets burn, motherfucker, you gon' learn when you meet me. Radio show me no love, but homie, that's okay. My shit pumping in the hood, that's all that really matters anyway. Hustling on the block all night, getting paid. I ain't holding nothing back, I'ma say what I wanna say. The game is so shady, yeah, it's the game we all play. Haters still hating, but most of y'all be all fake. Yeah, they call me the colonel, got my soldiers behind me. I'm keeping it real, you know exactly where to find me. Who wanna go and try me, keep that pistol beside me. I'm gangsta, bitch, that's why nobody wanna sign me. I'm gangsta. Gangsta, gang, I'm too hard for the radio, too gang for the industry. Gangsta, gangsta, gang, gang, gangsta, gangsta, gang, I'm gangsta, gangsta, gang, I'm too hard for the radio, too gang for the industry. Gangsta, gangsta, gang, gang, gangsta, gangsta, gang, gang, gangsta. It's DJ Watts, I'm keeping it gangsta coming out the block. I'm born and raised on Dundas and I'm reppin' T-Dot. I keep it big rocks from my watch to my clothes. I'm looking fresh to death everywhere that I go. And I be working hard trying to get up in the dough. Y'all thinking I'm turning soft, but what you fuckers don't know is that I'm gonna fund you, bro. They let this shotty blow. Or better yet, I'll beat you down with this microphone. I ain't no studio gangster in the studio. I'm too hot for the industry, too gang for the radio. They don't play my music, it's cool cause that don't bring me down. I'm still making records and keeping my shit underground.
Yeah, every time I look up, it'll freeze up because I won't see it when I'm looking here, right?
I still be in the hood until the day I make it out. Until that day comes, I'm slanging in the dope house.
Jesus Christ. It's just one thing after another with the interface here. Well, I was going to bring something different up, but fuck it. Just one thing after another. It's the classic denial of service. It's not hacking, it's just denial of service. Well, this is good. Maybe I will bring up the different track. I don't care either which way. I'll just keep rolling with this shit. Shit like you gets in the way. We roll right over top of it. You think you're causing us grief, like out of the blue. You're the first person ever thought to get in our way. You didn't think to look around. What happened to all the other people got in their way? You should have thought about that. In the barrel side is too cute.
Yeah. Good, yeah. You need to relax, surface. I don't need no feedback. I'm trying to put my seat back. Don't worry about that other shit. You'll never get it back. Rise like a phoenix from the ashes, like they said I never do. The ones always talking, never got a clue. Who the fuck am I? Nah. Who the fuck is you? Right up on my dogs. We just trying to get this money. You can put that on me and keep the artillery. If they cross me, then it's R.I.P. It's for my real thugs. The ones that squeeze the door and bleed just to smell the rosebud. In search of finer things, maybe God will notice me in my play. That's what it sound like when the pistol sing. Mama taking a picture of me so she don't see me me she cry when they talk about her on my TV. Wake up some mornings and I don't want a baby. See the criminal gangster is all I ever be. Like there's nothing positive in me. I am positive you're not getting rid of me, at least not that easily. I just wake up and crush the day in the rush to get paid till the devil look away. I got people on my serve on the way. I just wake up and crush the day in the rush to get paid. Tell God to look away. Somebody wanna see it, yeah. I just wake up and crush the day. I just wake up and crush the day in the rush to get paid. Tell the devil he can wait. I got people on my serve on the way. I just wake up and crush the day in the rush to get paid. Tell God to look away. This ain't what he wanna see. I just wake up and crush the day. Yeah, they say home is where the heart is, but back home I was living heartless. We all hard-headed, trying to prove whose head's the hardest. If thugging was an art, you could consider me an artiste. Most my friends grow up not knowing who their father is. Nothing in their fridge, you can see their ribs. Yep, this is how we live. Coming from a place that had nothing left to give, nothing left to take. There's nothing on the plate, but I'm dreaming of a steak. Everything is stake. I gamble with my life, either 5-star. About high bars, lock the jaws, we holding on, puff up, pass it on, cause I'm from pain too. What I've been through ain't what you've been through, but I feel you, yeah, it's true. Everything outside your window waiting to kill you. You think you know, but you ain't got a clue. Hear me, young Sherlock, ain't no such thing as a sure shot. It's a cold block, and I just want what you got. It's real talk, don't make a scene, just give it up. It's how it is, where the fuck I'm from, where the fuck I'm from, where the fuck I'm from, yeah. I just wake up and crush the day in the rush to get paid. Tell the devil look away. I got people on my serve on the way. I just wake up and crush the day in the rush to get paid. Tell God to look away. Somebody wanna see it, yeah. I just wake up and crush the day. I just wake up and crush the day in the rush to get paid. Tell the devil he can wait. I got people on my serve on the way. I just wake up and crush the day in the rush to get paid. Tell God to look away. This ain't what you wanna see. I just wake up and crush the day. Yeah.
At Sicily Honda, 88 Steeles Avenue, just west of Young. Go to SiclyHonda.com for details. IQ Sicily, and we're family driven.
Ontario's COVID-19 vaccine plan is helping to stop the spread and save lives. Until we're all vaccinated, we need to stay the course. Wear a mask, wash your hands, keep your distance. We've come so far together, and thousands of people across Ontario are getting vaccinated every day. Your turn is coming soon. Visit ontario.ca/COVID vaccine plan or call 1-800-999-6488 for assistance in 300 languages. Paid for by the Government of Ontario.
Now, 680 News regional weather conditions for Walmart.
Walmart is the #1 place to save money on groceries. Save $2.30 on a 170-gram pack of blueberries. Now only $1.67. Walmart. Save money, live better.
In Kitchener, you're seeing light rain at 7 degrees. In Oakville, overcast at 10, and in Pickering, overcast skies at 10 degrees. In downtown Toronto, it's 11 degrees and cloudy. 680 News Time, 9 o'clock.
Toronto's #1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is 680 News. It's Monday, April 19th. Good evening. I'm Scott Burnett.
And I'm Michelle Morton. Here's what's making news this hour.
The Trudeau government unveils a national child care program as the centerpiece for Budget 2021, with more than $100 billion in new spending and a $354 billion deficit. The ink is barely dry on the budget, but opposition leaders say they're disappointed with the plan and are demanding the Liberals make changes.
The Derek Chauvin trial for George Floyd's death is now in the hands of the jury. Minneapolis has boarded up as it braces for a verdict.
If you live in one of 5 York Region hotspots and are 35 years of age or older, you're now eligible for a COVID vaccine. The province says it's expecting delays in deliveries of the AstraZeneca vaccine. The Maple Leafs' Zach Hyman will miss at least 2 weeks, and the Blue Jays get ready for Boston. Sports at 15.
On a losing day on the markets, now fall. Plus, we're taking a look at what happened to Rogers and its big outage in business at 26.
680 News Time, 9:01.
Traffic and weather time is supposed to say this report brought to you by Mercedes-Benz Durham. And right now, we're just dealing with this one issue on the southbound 410 at Steeles. 2 right lanes are blocked with a crash. Westbound Steeles ramp to the south 410 is closed because of this as well. So you can still get on the south 410 from eastbound Steeles. Westbound, though, is restricted. Again, many emergency crews on scene for this collision. I just happened to look elsewhere. Minor issue, eastbound QBW at Mississauga Road, stalled vehicle in the right lane, and construction shutting down the North Bathurst ramp to the East 407. During the Mercedes-Benz Durham Spring event, enjoy 3 payments waived and finance rates from 0.49% on select models. Visit Mercedes-Benz-Durham.com with the forecast. Here's Carl Lamb.
Rain showers making their way through the GTA, and it will still be pretty breezy tonight as well. We're headed down to an overnight low of 2 degrees. And then for tomorrow, it is cloudy with a high of 6 degrees. Snow showers to the north during the day, but then by the evening hours, we're watching for some snow to approach the GTA, and everybody will get in on this. There will be some accumulating snow as well as temperatures drop down to an overnight low of -2 on Tuesday night. Tonight's overnight low, +2.
In Toronto, it's 11 degrees and cloudy at Toronto Pearson. Similar conditions, just a little cooler at 9 degrees. 680 News Time, 9:03.
Hey, big spender. The federal Liberals have released their first federal budget in over 2 years with billions in spending. It looks to prop up Canadians who will need it the most post-pandemic.
Reaction to Chrystia Freeland's first budget as finance minister is getting mixed reaction in Parliament. More on that in just a moment. First, 680's Mike Apple joins us to break down the historic document.
Even though the economy has bounced back faster than expected from the shock of the pandemic, the Trudeau government is not scaling back its spending plans. In fact, it's exceeding the initial targets for new spending at $101 billion over the next 3 years. In what Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland calls a feminist budget, the spending is directed toward correcting economic inequities exposed in the pandemic, offering billions of dollars of support to women, seniors, students, Indigenous communities, and small business. The budget at 741 pages is one of the largest.
Just remember, any money that Indigenous communities get comes out of their own trust accounts. It doesn't come from the budget process, even when they try to include it in these documents. It's not the same money. It's already our money in bank accounts and trust accounts. Put it to you this way, 200 years or whatever of not being given any of the interest, it's still there.
Long-term care homes. With several sectors, though, still in shutdown, the Trudeau government is extending the emergency wage subsidy, the Canada Recovery Benefit, and the rent relief programs through September. And enhanced sickness benefits will be expanded from 15 to 26 weeks. Other big spending items include $18 billion over 5 years for Indigenous communities, into reconciliation and infrastructure, $5 billion going towards student and youth job creation programs, including apprenticeship training and the Canada Summer Jobs Program. Also, green initiatives with
the same government expects you to do things for a $3 per diem.
Retrofits, including windows,
Serve Canada 90 days or some shit. $3 per diem.
Upgrade their technologies to get to net
and you got to pay your own way to eat.
And because seniors were the most affected by the COVID outbreak early in the pandemic, the budget raises old age security payments for those 75 years and older by 10% per year starting in 2022. Now, on the revenue side,
of course, the people that have the least amount of time to live, you'll give a little bit more each year. Who lasts long, who lasts.
Big tech companies will face a 3% tax starting on sales in Canada beginning next year. And taxes on cigarettes will be going up as of midnight by $4 per carton. The deficit forecasted $354 billion, the largest on record, $154 billion for this fiscal year, declining to $30 billion by 2025-26. The overall debt load for the country rising to a whopping $1.4 trillion. Covering the federal budget, I'm Mike Apple. Well, the finance minister says this fiscal plan will help transform the country. Opposition parties are slamming the budget ahead of a potential election.
Smart, responsible, and ambitious. That's how Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland is framing the record spending amid an unprecedented pandemic. The centerpiece of this budget, of course, is the National Child Care Plan.
This is going to be a transformational social investment and a transformational economic investment.
But conservatives call the budget a massive letdown and say they have problems with the National Child Care Plan, while the Bloc Québécois says it wants to see increases to supports for seniors and transfers to the provinces. Both parties are prepared to vote against the budget. Since this is a minority government, the Liberals need the support of just one opposition party to survive the confidence vote with this fiscal plan. NDP leader Jagmeet Singh says while he has serious problems with this budget, he'll not be forcing Canadians to the polls in the third wave of this pandemic.
It would be unjust. It would be unfair for Canadians. So we're absolutely not going to do that.
Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
680 News Time, 9:07.
That was the shortest soundbite.
Happening now in
That was the
Minnesota.
key to the
Jury
whole day.
deliberations
The Liberals are going,
underway
oh,
in the
good,
murder
we're
trial
done.
of
They don't have to.
Chauvin, as peaceful protests hit the streets of Minneapolis in anticipation of a verdict. 680's Karen Sewell is following along and joins us live. Karen, Michelle, protesters gathering peacefully outside the courthouse were inside the jury deliberates. In closing arguments, the defense implored jurors to consider the moments before the nearly 10 minutes of video where Derek Chauvin is seen kneeling on George Floyd's neck.
We have to analyze this case from the perspective of a reasonable police officer at the precise moment with the totality of the circumstances when it comes to the use of force.
But the prosecution argued this wasn't policing, this was murder.
Those Sergeant Preston radio dramas, bear with me. The stereotype of what a cop is supposed to be comes from somewhere, don't it?
Businesses have boarded up, fearing potential unrest if the jury brings back a verdict.
And
The may see it's unjust. The White House says it's
I'm in a business.
We're in touch with local authorities. We're in
I'm in
touch
a business
with
that better be open for business right now. We had our windows smashed every week if we needed it or not.
The 12 jurors must be unanimous to convict.
On the word on.
Karen Seelden.
Keep it up, Chomo. Every time I look up, it freezes up. It's very, very coincidental.
To get their shot. 680's Momin Qureshi has news you can use.
We'll start in the New York region, where if you're 35 years of age or older and live in one of 5 hotspots designated by postal code, starting tomorrow morning at 8:30, you can begin registering for a COVID-19 vaccine. Tomorrow is also the day anyone 40 and over across the province can get the AstraZeneca vaccine. Bookings for those spots began today. To find a location near you, you can go to covid19.on.ca/vaccine locations and enter your postal code. You can also head to 680news.com to find a handy vaccine registration guide.
That's all the news you got for us. Keep it up, Chomo.
Available and are being at 1,400 pharmacies as well as doctors' offices.
Keep it up, Chomo.
The Premier's office says it's been told to expect delays in shipments of AstraZeneca's vaccine over the next 2 months. I'm Momin Qureshi.
Coming up in 30 seconds, we'll check on the price of the pumps.
680 News Time, 9:09.
This is 680 News. Hey, it's Dean Sickles from Willowdale Nissan. Great news, we are open. All safety protocols are in place as we regularly fog and wipe down all touch points for your safety. We will all get through this together, and to help, we are offering our best deals of the year with the Nissan My Choice Sales Event. Get incredible offers in the entire lineup of Nissan.
I didn't get a joint roll.
The My Choice Sales Event at Willowdale Nissan, the #1 Nissan dealership in Ontario and your Nissan GTA headquarters. Visit WillowdaleNissan.com.
Now the 680 News gas price update. Enpro says price of gas will not budge at midnight, holding $1.30.9 a liter. Traffic and weather's next.
680 News Time, 9:10.
Since the dawn of time,
11,
humans have been pursuing food. First in open plains and lush forests, and later in the crowded aisles of grocery stores. Today, that pursuit is over. With good food.
I don't know what this is. I'm going to click on it and see what happens. No, I got to click on it. It says Dundas Dollar, 5 a.m. on the Dundas. It doesn't matter if it sucks. I got to click on it just to find out what it is. Dundas is a long fucking street. You don't think about it. I think I've walked almost every block of it From at least from Kingston Road to Jane, I've walked every block of it, and then from there, I'm not sure, somewhere out near Port Credit, Mississauga, all these different places. Silence. If you strike my account for this one, I won't play anything new ever again, ever. I swear. I'm joking. Doesn't matter. Strike it. It don't matter.
Still bleeding. They won't stop calling my phone. Dollar.
Okay, before I decide I don't like it, I'm just gonna pause it right there. No, the beat isn't gonna go with my buzz right now, so instead of giving it a partial judge, I'll try to be impartial. Right here. So every time I try fixing Chrome, I lose all my bookmarks. You've been there, right? Oh, you should sign in, and no, I don't think so, because something tells me I would lose all my bookmarks on every device all at once if I did that.
Big guns round here on a dun-dun. You don't even want to know where they come from. If you want one, it costs $2.5. And we got firework like July. What you want to buy? Name the product. When it's time to rap, we get black shot up. Yeah, shots up. What shot what? Just the sky, cause no one's a target. You heard proud of that? That's some hard shit. You heard proud of what? That's some garbage. That's nonsense, so want to content. But I don't let that big shit phase me. I can't fuck with y'all fugazi. The name's 80, I'm wavy. When the fuck boys hate us, they gon' hate me. But they won't do shit, they soft like pastry. If there's a problem, let me know that. A bullet in the big guns will show that. El got the soft, he's asking where the stove at. Look with me, he's asking where the hose at. I got too many bars where the dough at. If he holding out, hold that. I've been hot all year with a slow at. 3 mixtapes 1 year, all crack. The streets been waiting, but I'm back. I'm the best right now, that's a known fact. I shoot anywhere, chest, stomach, don't back. It don't matter as long as he gets clapped. And you know that my dunnies all with that. All he asking is where the stolen whip at. Duck down when you hear a big stick clap. Welcome to the Dundas, bitch, nigga, stay strapped. Southside chain, come around here, get one to your brain. Ain't an old man, but I push that cane. Look in my eyes, you'll see that pain. Since 16, been in this game, grinding, stacking, gotta maintain. In the trap, rolling up, Mary Jane. I'm rolling up, Mary Jane. My dun-duns go to blocks to make it rain. Ain't talking about throwing change. Lights get snatched like change. Dumb boys, you know what I claim. I rap cause I can, you niggas want fame. All the heads keep telling me do my thing, but I've been doing my thing. Ain't run the bitch that big for the fling. Phone bling, raw boardings. Anytime my phone rings, all week, same clothing. OT, so my phone's rooming. Ride outs, whip stolen. Every nigga riding with me holding. Our niggas blocks just strolling. For Bud Dog, Henny pouring. Stay winning like Jordan. On the other side, we scoring. Kicked her out cause she boring. She talking, I'm ignoring. If it ain't money, not important. On the deep south where it's scorching. If I see a gator, I'm torching. Niggas think I'm joking. Niggas talking about what they gon' do, but I never seen them in the streets yet. Pull out game made weak, nigga. Nina already know that. Draw fast and blow that. Niggas sleeping like Snorlax. You ain't hype, boy, you better relax. You ain't hype, boy, you better relax. My bean came from rehab. 2 days he relapsed. Ride around your block, nigga. Swear I done about 5 laps. All you hear is 5 claps. Tires squealing after that. You gon' need a doctor like aftermath. Shots ringing like after class. I'm Goop Chap, shout out to Crash. Fiends of the rock, Damon Dash, no hero. How the stick flash when you hear my shit, put it on blast. Put it on blast. Toronto's best, the rest trash. Getting paid, counting cash. Every rack I make, throw it in the stash.
Where you from, my nigga?
Done dash. Throwing shots, better think fast. You niggas broke, go get a cast.
Where you from, my nigga?
Done dash. With them guns blast, better run fast. You'll get done fast, don't be a dumbass. Yo, I'm D-U-N, I'm D-O-Y, dollar sign. Yo, I'm D-U-N, I'm D-O-Y, dollar sign.
Yo, I'm D-U-N, dollar sign.
Apparently I hit that recycle button. I already got hundreds of results, nothing to do with what I typed in. Oh, there we go. Right. Okay, if I click here. Berlin. So the name comes up with TV, actor, chef, pharmacy, or Berlin. These have nothing to do with what I'm looking for. I'm very sorry. I thought you knew where I was. I'm not searching for anything outside of Toronto. That's not what I fucking typed at all. What the fuck just happened? This is useful. That is not what I fucking took. What the fucking hell? There we go. Center, click that. Click that. Oh, these are for the holes. These are for the holes. Oh,
We are all evil in some form or another, are we not?
I'm asking you questions, my friend.
Yes, I am evil. Not 100%, but I am evil. Evil has always existed. The perfect world most people seek shall never come to pass. And it's going to get worse.
You can see me in and out of the abandoned building. King Cannon hand standing with the damaged children. In the plains of winter, the city's cancer in it. Some people pray to God, but God ain't answering them. Toronto has made me this way of straight evil. Hate people, they hate me, we remain equal. And I'll be damned if I let another me burn. Let the hammer slam, that man gon' be seeing dirt. We're gonna see the earth. It's a rough place. Screw face cap, home of the fuck face. Fuck face, they got shit to do on my Sundays. Out the door with that 4 fuckers, the drug pays. Making chump change, front like you hard as fuck, but I have. Home of the fuck face.
We are all evil in some form or another, are we not?
I'm asking you questions, my friend.
Yes, I am evil. Not 100%, but I am evil. Evil has
has always existed. Perfect world most people seek shall never come to pass. And it's gonna get worse.
You can see me in and out of the abandoned building. Can can in hand, standing with the damaged children. In the plans of winning, the city's cancer in it. Some people pray to God, but God ain't answering them. Toronto has made me this way of straight evil. Hate people, they hate me, we remain equal. And I'll be damned if I let another me emerge. Let the hammer slam, that man gon' be seeing dirt. We're gonna see the earth. It's a rough place. Screw face cap, home with a fuck face. Fuck face, I got shit to do on my Sundays. Out the door with that 4 fuckers, the drug pays. Making chunk change, frontin' like you hard as fuck. But I have a blue and an attitude, it's just not enough. Fucking call your bluff. You bitches get dumpy. That's a straight evil, every victim is lucky. Yeah, they say it's all about a dollar bill. If the drama don't get you, then the karma will. The evil is in our people. It doesn't only come from up above you or beneath you. Yeah, they say it's all about a dollar bill. If the drama don't get you, then the karma will. The evil is in our people. It doesn't only come from up above you or beneath you. I know too many people who've been deceitful. Greetings in as we evil. Preach and teach but don't reach though. They don't hit home. Fuck being positive, I gotta get though. My daughter's almost 6, bro. Real shit though. I seen dreams collapse. Fiends feeding crack beans for an evening snack. See, but we don't speak of that. Media is quiet. Series of the riots thinking we can cease the violence. But it never stops. Fuck a better cop. Shoot a brother down, cause he's selling shots. We afraid of the law, so fuck getting caught. I fail to get shot. When I set up shop, Toronto, where the Maple Leafs and raps play. Underdogs who come above it all from last place. Evil lurks here. People hurt here. 666 reasons to go to church here. Yeah, they say it's all about a dollar bill. If the drama don't get you, then the karma will. The evil is in our people. It doesn't only come from up above you or beneath you. Yeah, they say it's all about a dollar bill. If the drama don't get you, then the karma will. The evil is in our people. It doesn't only come from up above you or beneath you.
Yo, it's Phil Stomachs. Yo, I feel stomachs. Alright, yo. You can spot me at the bottom of your block sitting. I'm rock pigeon, making chops to y'all children. Yo, you got rhythm? Now my shit adds up like arithmetic. You ain't got the gist of it. They become an instant fiend from the first sniff of it. I see people change more than bartenders counting tips. Bars calculated using algebra and calculus. I talk to street kids who get homeless allowance. What you know about giving drug dealers counterfeits? Walking into the pharmacy on some hopping over the counter shit, just to get my bank account to a positive balance shit. You do not see eye to eye with me, eye to eye with me. UCs and CIs inside the streets, that ain't fine with me.
You do not see eye to eye with me, eye to eye with me. UCs and CIs inside the streets, that ain't fine with me.
You do not see eye to eye with me, eye to eye with me. UCs and CIs inside the streets, that ain't fine with me.
You do not see eye to eye with me, eye to eye with me. UCs and CIs inside the streets, that ain't fine with me. I ain't Superman, I'm not a superhero, but I know some shooters, man. I know some stupid people. I don't know who I am, but I ain't moving legal. Yo, you do that, man? Dude, we see you. We watching for coppers, they watching us chopping. Got squad helicopters, I'm hella proper. Had a few who thought he's a detective. Whopping in the best shit has gotten me arrested. Welcome to the vacant lot where fiends banging charge. Greed and hatred top, any other feelings they can cop. Tabletop still with broken needles, hopeless people who cope with evil, even though they live a life that's so illegal. Growing up, I was rude to my mother. Not enough food in the cupboards, what are we doing for supper? Been through it and suffered it, and influenced the hustle who knew I'd be trouble. I ain't new to the struggle, man.
You do not see eye to eye with me, eye to eye with me. You C's and CIs inside the streets, that ain't fine with me.
You do not see eye to eye with me, eye to eye with me. You see some CIs inside the streets, that ain't fine with me.
You do not see eye to eye with me, eye to eye with me. You C's and CIs inside the streets, that ain't. Yo, it feels stomachs. Yo, I feel stomachs. Alright, yo. You can spot me at the bottom of your block sitting. I'm rock pitching, making chops to y'all children. Yo, you got rhythm? Now my shit adds up like arithmetic. You ain't got the gist of it. They become an instant fiend from the first snip of it. I see people change more than bartenders counting tips. Bars calculated using algebra and calculus. I talk to street kids who get homeless allowance. What you know about giving drug dealers counterfeits? Walking into the pharmacy on some hopping over the counter shit just to get my bank account to a positive balance shit. You do not see eye to eye with me, eye to eye with me. You C's and CIs inside the streets, that ain't fine with me.
You do not see eye to eye with me, eye to eye with me. You see some CIs inside the streets, that ain't fine with me.
You do not see eye to eye with me, eye to eye with me. You C's and CIs inside the streets, that ain't fine with me.
You do not see eye to eye with me, eye to eye with me. You see some CIs inside the streets, that ain't fine with me. I ain't Superman, nah, I'm not a Superman.
Tell them I was raised in the neighborhood that had the teams lined up to get it good. And I knew one day I'd do the same thing. Cause I ride with hustles, we got that mind frame. Go and tell them I ain't walk on the side of town. If you ain't from round here, don't come around. We like the good fellas, all my niggas be good fellas. We see numbers like a bank teller. You gotta be smart, cause it's a hard game. Try to short up on your bluff like a card game. You know this game make for kiddies, man. All the goods at least the front wanna get your boy a kitty, man. It's the murder cat, let's keep your chest in. I love money, so the thieves be my best friend. Infatuated with the fast cars and nice clothes. You know I get that, you already know. And we don't like rats. In my neighborhood, we show you how to trap. In my neighborhood, we bring it all back. In my neighborhood, I'm from Central, nigga, that's my neighborhood. I was raised in the neighborhood that had the beans lined up to get it good. And I knew one day I'd do the same thing. Cause I ride with hustle, we got that mind frame. Go and tell them I was raised in the neighborhood that had the teams lined up to get it good. And I knew one day I'd do the same thing. Cause I ride with hustle, we got that mind frame. Go and tell them, baby, stay fresh to death, I'm dressing all black. No need for going out, cause you know I'm on the jack. I guess you can't help yourself, you gotta run your gap. You bet you can't run the trap like you're doing that. And it's a real shame. You grew so damn lame, you could've had the chance to roll and make some real change. Yes, we in the game.
Yeah. Freemasons.
I wanna love the many cries every time I feed the supply. I wanna rush scream loud enough to open up the sky. Give me exponential, but it's all cocaine in an nasal. My life story will be told like a fabricated fable. My soul's on the operating table, set that Western cables. You need that career to keep this paper patient stable. I'm feeling chemically imbalanced, these silence will I speak. I'm paranoid, visually watching for police. I'm a drug dealer with every heartbeat, with every breath in my chest, devoted to the death. That's the stress, need to release some of the stress. And when there's nothing left in the streets, and what it takes to eat, that's my peak. When we hustle, we don't sleep. Shit, my dog been up all week. The eyes permission to speak. Tell me why it is the money I see. I got to my sense of my skin just to show you what I mean. My whole world is run by greed, but the dead are only the people in this world that I have. My heart is empty. Woke up in the graveyard, laying next to God. I could hear his voice, but couldn't see him through the fog. He said that death would be easy, but life was always hard. So I guess I disregard what I've been through thus far. Woke up in the graveyard, laying next to God. I could hear his voice, but couldn't see him through the fog. He said that death would be easy, but life was always hard. So I guess I disregard what I've been through thus far.
That clicking sound is loud.
Yeah. Let's get it, yeah. You need to relax, service. I don't need no feedback. I'm trying to put my seat back. Don't worry about that other shit. You'll never get it back. Rise like a phoenix from the ashes, like they said I never do. The ones always talking never got a clue. Where the fuck am I now? Where the fuck is you? Right up on my thugs. We just trying to get this money. You can put that on me, we keep the artillery. If they cross me, then it's R.I.P. It's for my real thugs. The ones that squeeze the thorn and bleed just to smell the rosebud. In the search of finer things, maybe God will notice me if I blink. That's what it sound like when the pistols sing. Mama checking the picture every so she don't see me. She cry when they talk about it on my TV. Wake up some mornings and I don't want a baby. Say the criminal or gangster, it's all I ever be. Like there's nothing positive in me. I am positive you're not getting rid of me, at least not that easily. I just wake up and crush the day, in a rush to get paid. Tell the devil he can wait. I got people on my serve on the way. I just wake up and crush the day, in a rush to get paid. Tell God to look away.
It is going to roll back to full strength, bringing in dollars, millions of dollars tax revenue to offset all these spending initiatives. Still looking at a deficit this year of $354 billion. That'll stay showing revenue by 2025-26 to the tune of $30 billion that year. The money's going out on big spending initiatives like a national child care program aimed at bringing
So I guess
down
we're
the
not buying
cost
the
of child care by
F-22,
50%,
23, whatever the
and
fuck
then
that
by
thing's called,
10% within a 5-year time frame, similar to what already is established in Quebec. The only catch there is that that's going to be negotiated with the provinces, as that is provincial jurisdiction. With several sectors still in shutdown, the Trudeau government is extending the emergency wage subsidy, the Canada Recovery Benefit, and rent relief programs through September, and could extend that to November if needs be. That is something that is being applauded by the Canadian Federation of Independent Business. They have long called for extensions of emergency relief for the small business sector. On the revenue side, the new taxes are actually somewhat limited and very targeted, including a 10% tax on luxury items, including cars and yachts over the price tag of $100,000. Big tech companies will be facing a 3% tax starting on sales in Canada beginning next year, and taxes on cigarettes going up as of midnight tonight by $4 per carton. Covering the federal budget, I'm Mike Apple.
The federal finance minister is framing this budget as transformational, while the opposition calls it a disappointment. 680's Parliament Hill reporter Cormac McSweeney has the details.
A smart, responsible, ambitious plan.
Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland claims this fiscal plan will help heal the wounds of the pandemic and strengthen our economy for the future. But the opposition has a different point of view, with Conservative leader Aaron O'Toole calling it a massive letdown.
Canadians were expecting a pandemic budget. This is an election budget, and a poor one at that.
The Conservatives in Bloc Québécois will be trying to make amendments and say they're prepared to vote against the budget if they don't get their way. Since this is a minority parliament, that could risk an election. However, the NDP says it will not topple the government and thrust the country into a vote during the third wave of this pandemic. Despite being disappointed, the Liberals have ignored most of their budget demands. Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
680 News Time, 9:36. Happening right now, peaceful protesters are taking to the streets in Minnesota as the fate of Derek Chauvin remains in the jury's hands. 680's Karen Sion is following along and joins us live with the very latest. Karen.
Yeah, Scott, jury deliberations are now over for the day, and they will resume tomorrow. The prosecution has the final word before the 12 jurors were sent out of the courtroom.
The reason George Floyd is dead is because Mr. Chauvin's heart was too small.
Prosecutors discounting a defense theory that Floyd died because he had an enlarged heart. In his closing arguments, the lawyer for Chauvin further argued the former officer applied reasonable force against Floyd.
People sleep in the prone position, people suntan in the prone position, people get massages in the prone position.
The police chief calling for calm as protesters hit the streets, fearing destruction in his city once again if the jury
What they
chooses
just tell us, pregnant women are having a really hard time coming through COVID because the child is pushing up on their lungs.
It's in touch with local authorities in anticipation of a verdict. Reporting live, I'm Karen Seolin.
The vaccination age limit in several York Region hotspots has now been lowered to the mid-30s. It comes as those 40 and over across the province can now book an appointment for an AstraZeneca shot at a local pharmacy. 680's Moment Cressy has the latest.
Well, anyone 60 years of age or older in York Region can register for a COVID-19 vaccine appointment. The region is also staying focused on 5 key hotspot areas, now saying anyone 35 years old and up who lives in one of those postal codes can register for the vaccine beginning tomorrow morning.
Spring snowfall could be on the way for Toronto, Environment Canada warns.
680news.com. That's also where you'll find a handy how to register for the vaccine guide, as anyone 40 years of age or older across the province becomes eligible for the AstraZeneca vaccine. Bookings for that vaccine began today. It's being distributed at over 1,400 pharmacies as well as doctors' offices. To find a location near you that's offering the vaccine, you can go to the province's COVID-19 site and put in your postal code. The province says it has over 500,000 doses of that vaccine available. But today, the Premier's office says it's been told to expect further delays of AstraZeneca vaccine shipments this month and next month. I'm Omen Qureshi.
680 News Time, 9:38. Despite the optimistic news on the vaccination front, the current rate of spread in Ontario remains critical. Those words from health officials today as we see record COVID-19 data across the board in Ontario.
For the 6th day in a row, Ontario sees COVID-19 cases over 4,000. Today, 4,447. The 10.5% testing positivity rate, a record. Hospitalizations at a record 2,202. A record number of people in the ICU.
And also, a bunch of hospitals don't report on the weekend.
Is Peel's top doctor. He calls the situation dire and says we are not going to be able to vaccinate our way out of this at this point.
In Peel right now, the transmission picture is the worst that we've seen since the pandemic arrived on our shores. We've never seen case counts this high before. We've never seen our hospital capacity exceeded to the levels that we're seeing.
Dr. Lowe encouraging people to get the first vaccine offered to them. I'm Irene Precklett.
680 News Time 9:39. Coming up, traffic and weather together on the ones, as well as the gas price update in 30 seconds.
This is Caleb. Hi. Caleb loves to speak in the third person.
It says AP News yesterday, union accuses Amazon of illegally interfering with vote. I'm not talking about that at all. They will tell us over and over and over about this fucking helicopter. So I want to hear what all these Royal Military College guys have to say about this budget. I'm sure they're pissed. The fuck was that? I think that was a Volkswagen motor on a motorcycle. Like,
so, and she's showing all these graphs. The unemployment has come back. We're almost at the pre-pandemic level. And then she pivots in the next sentence and says, "Oh, and we've got to stimulate the economy with $100 billion because the economy is in dire straits." Okay, which is it? Is the economy falling off the cliff, or is the economy, quote, roaring back? And I think that contradiction was never resolved. She never squared the circle on this budget.
And I don't think they will. I mean, from what I can see, a lot of this has already been announced. They already said that they were going to extend aid packages. So, you know, I don't think there are too many surprises with that. And the childcare has been rumored for decades at this point, because they've run and offered this since back in the days of Paul Martin. But they're saying by 2026, no matter how much money you make, you could be a millionaire, a billionaire, your kids will go to daycare for $10 a day. I mean, this to me is a mistake. Like, why wouldn't you target that?
Alex, you beat me to the punch. My criticism, and I do support daycare, even though, okay, there's a bit of sour grapes maybe. When I raised my two children with my wife, we didn't get any government support back in the 1980s, late 80s, early 90s. But okay, that was then, this is now. And I do find the argument, the greater public good argument, that if we, because we are moving into this brave new world of an aging economy, I categorically reject Ms. Freeland's constant talk about, oh, massive unemployment. There is people, the moment we're all vaccinated back to work, we're going to be facing labor shortages. We already are in many industries, and it's only going to get worse. So anything that increases the participation rate is a good thing. And I'm referring now to daycare. But where I can criticize what she did, it was an enormous mistake, in my humble opinion, which is saying, they never used the word universal. They said all parents. Now, all parents means all parents. That means medical doctors making $1 million a year. It means professors making $250,000 a year. It means CEOs. I mean, Quebec government went down that road 10 years ago, and then they realized it was an enormous mistake because it was incredibly expensive, and there was absolutely zero justification for giving cheap daycare to high-income people. They should have said, we're going to target it like we do guaranteed income supplement and even old age pension now, because we clawed back above a certain level. Whatever the level was, if they said, okay, you can collect it up to $120,000 of income, okay, fine. But there's no cap. I mean, wealthy people, millionaires, multimillionaires, professors, high-income professors can get free daycare. This is crazy. This is
well, yes, but you have to understand, Ian, that in Toronto, in Rosedale, Forest Hill, vote-rich liberal areas, this is what they want. They need the mommies who lunch to vote for them, and they will. They'll love them. Darling, no, a $10 daycare. But
you get the nail on the head there. Just very quickly on that. I argue, because I've looked at the wealthiest postal codes in Canada, in places like the Beaches and Rosedale and Shaughnessy in Vancouver, Mount Royal, where Pierre Trudeau used to live, and in Ottawa, these high-income neighborhoods vote overwhelmingly Green, NDP, or less liberal, meaning progressive liberal. There's no conservatives in those. And these are the highest income neighborhoods in Canada. And they're the people who support most passionately free drugs for themselves, and they support free daycare for themselves. Surely somebody can stand up and say, stop being so greedy.
It's interesting, though. I mean, there is no universal pharmacare, and I don't know how Jagmeet Singh will feel about that. I don't know if he'll prop this government up on that. There's also no capital gains tax, which had been long rumored that they were kind of mulling over. I figure they'll put that in once they get the majority, or maybe it's buried in the fine print. But there are some things that they didn't do, including raising the GST.
I want to, and now I've been critical of Ms. Freeland. Now let me give her some credit. She didn't do a universal basic income, which is brutally expensive, like over $100 billion a year. She didn't do universal pharmacare, which is brutally expensive per the BBO. Fully funded, it can hit $40 billion a year. Now, I think the reason why was they looked at the numbers And even, I think, the Liberals started to blush. And I mean, I'm not being unkind when I say that. I mean, they don't have any problem with a $350 billion deficit because they just tabled it. But then they realized, oh my God, if we do this, and we do pharmacare, and we do universal basic income, we're going to have a budget that's so far off the charts, people won't even see it, and it'll make I'm sure they thought this will drive the currency markets crazy. It'll just crash the Canadian dollar. And so I think that they started to, have indigestion. And they are reaching for the Tums and saying, somebody in the room, probably Mr. Sabia, the new deputy minister, who came from the business world, he's the grown-up in the room along with Ms. Freeland, said to Mr. Trudeau, the Prime Minister, no, we can't do that. This is too much.
Half a trillion is too much. A third of a trillion is
we
just
cannot
right.
balance the budget itself, and it will not grow from the heart out. So I think Mr. Trudeau might be catching on. But again,
the budget will balance itself. That's what Trudeau said.
To run on universal basic income alone and on universal pharmacare. So that is interesting, and we'll see. I always know the devil comes out in the details in the coming days, so we'll see where that happens and what we missed and what we didn't. But I appreciate your insight into this, Ian.
My pleasure. Thanks very much, Alex.
Ian Lee, Sprott School of Business. Better he than me have to go through this because the numbers I just blur completely.
And now it's time to go out and take a look at the roads with chopper traffic. Here's Ari Rabinovich.
Well, still problems on the South 410 at Steeles. 2 right lanes still blocked here because of an earlier tractor-trailer rollover. That's
I didn't hear anything about the fence spending. Nothing. Didn't hear it yet. Let's hear it. We're going to hear it. We're going to hear it. That's why I'm not
buying
looking
off
it
the
up
shelves.
because we'll hear it.
At Medina's skate shop, it moved boards too. And I'm like, let's get along. And I'll just be like laughing in my head. And I was just like, okay.
Yes,
Medina gets why people love these videos so much. And why they're inspiring new skaters to hit up their local skate shops. Just
I'm trying to change the fucking station for a second. It's going up and down and up and down. Yes, you're so creative. I saw a guy riding a bike with a speaker the size of an Uber Eats bag on his back playing that song the other day. Just
PR News, I'm Claire Miller.
Oh, but not for long. I got Abrams towing in my phone. Abrams recruits only the best drivers, fully licensed and insured. With Abrams, I know I won't get ripped off.
You need a tow?
I'm good. Called Abrams.
You can trust Abrams Towing. Put it in your phone now. 416-398-2500. 416-398-2500.
Dads, we all got one. Close the fridge door, will ya? You're letting all the cold air out. Always trying to save a buck or two around the house. Are you almost done in there? You've been running the water for 20 minutes. At LG Home Comfort, they're dads too, and moms, so they understand saving money on energy. That's why if you're an Ontario homeowner, your first and last call should be to LG Home Comfort for your heating, cooling, and water needs. So get a tankless water heater and save on that 20-minute shower, or flip on that air conditioner.
cricket scores. Soccer politics.
To promote tickets for sale to satisfy the needs of the fans. Around 30,000 fans will be allowed into the Guangzhou Tianhe Stadium to watch the first Guangzhou Derby of the new season. The other match today features Chongqing hosting Shandong Taishan.
Is so fucking slow.
In the CBA playoffs, Zhejiang Golden Bulls smashed Qingdao 111-98 and booked the spot in the semi-finals. The Golden Bulls sank 19 three-pointers while Qingdao managed only 2. The third
in a central part of our wireless network. That led to intermittent congestion and service impacts for many customers across the country. He also says the wireless service issues that started earlier this morning are unacceptable, and on behalf of Rogers, he wants to sincerely apologize for the significant impact and frustration that this has caused.
How about the money you rip people off for?
South of the border, former U.S. Vice President Walter Mondale has died. Andy Field of ABC News looks back at the life and career of the 42nd Vice President of the United States.
Despite a long liberal political career, this may be one of Walter Mondale's most remembered lines.
When I hear your new ideas, I'm reminded of that ad. Where's the beef?
Vice President Mondale running for president in the primaries and suffering a landslide loss to Ronald Reagan. He served as Minnesota's senator. Through it all, he was proud to wear the liberal label.
It became a word that had a sting to it, whereas people started calling themselves progressive. I think the same thing.
Walter Mondale, the nation's longest retired vice president for more than 30 years. Andy Field, ABC News.
Where do we just hear those two words?
Traffic and weather together on the ones. 680 News Time. 9:50.
Oh no, there's water everywhere.
Dad, a pipe broke. My
5, 60, 65, or 70, regardless of the age you want to far in advance. Start your planning now and see what factors play into retiring at your desired age when you join Calvin the Money Guy with Chris Creston this Sunday morning at 9. And for advice anytime, go to askkelvin.ca. That's askkelvin.ca.
See it like that. You can see everything is up and down, That's a big hat.
Welcome back to On Point with Alex Pearson on Global.
You gotta do something about that bump.
Like your best behavior, but inevitably, like thinking about being on your best behavior leads to that behavior.
As bad as it is, but it is bad. It catches your breath when you see what happens to the boy. So what this video shows is a handful of kids at a skateboard park in Gravenhurst, and they're doing tricks on their boards and scooters. They are nowhere near each other, and that's when you see two OPP officers walk in. One officer stops and is talking to a boy on his scooter. Just push the boy. He sends his kid flying with a lot of force, which then prompts the kids, as you heard in that video, to start shouting, "Hey, he's only 12 years old." You know, when we talk about the dangers of giving cops too much power, this is a prime example. And I know this video will likely anger a lot of other police officers because, fairly or not, it just makes them look bad. Brody O'Hare joins us now. He was with the person who filmed this moment, and I appreciate your time on this.
Piss him off because the cop was beating up on a 12-year-old.
So you were at this park. Take us through what happened, because from what I'm seeing, you guys are just doing what kids do on a weekend out there doing tricks. You're nowhere near each other. What happened when the cops came in?
So I'll just tell you from the get-go, from the start of this cop or these cops. So usually we try and keep it around 10 people so we don't try and disturb anybody or get the cops involved. This is completely what we were trying to avoid all day. There was between 11 and 14 of us there. Mm-hmm. But most people, there was about 4 to 5 people sitting around a bench talking amongst themselves. They all came together, and the rest of us were doing scooter tricks on our skateboard or on a bike. And these cops drove past a few times before they said anything. And then when they
looking for something wrong,
I think about their third or fourth time passing by, they said masks up. I think every little kid there put a mask on. I went to my car and grabbed mine, put it on. When these cops pulled in, we all kind of just,
if you're outside, you don't have
a few of us kind of just escaped the group and started doing tricks again, and a few of us start talking still. But then these cops got out of their car, and they approached one of the older kids, and he didn't say anything. He just denied everything and walked off the property of the skate park to his car. And then some kids were giving bad mouth, but the kid that got pushed over, he wasn't giving any lip, nothing. He was cooperating. He even asked for his name and his phone number for his parents.
Yeah, and most cops, and certainly, and I certainly know a lot of cops were very good, and I'm sure that they're just shaking their head at this, but certainly this pandemic has been hard enough on everybody, certainly kids of all ages, including, your age. Yeah. It's just a real shame to see. What would you like to come out of this, Brody?
I want to see, I want to see this cop give this little boy a full-on apology. And I've seen a lot of people say that he should lose his job. He should not have a badge or gun, things like that. I don't think it will go that far, but in all reality, yes, I think this police officer should not have his job because of it.
Alrighty, that wraps up this Budget Monday. We'll see what Charlie Adler said after the numbers today, and he'll take you through the next couple of hours here on Global News Radio 640 Toronto right after me, and our sister station, Global News Radio CFPL. I thank you. I thank my team. We'll see what Tuesday's conversation brings here on Point.
I don't think it'll go that far. All that. Where are the angry RMC guys? I wonder if our budget made the international news. Shit, we didn't check that yet.
In the UK and in the States, and really anywhere you go where
we're not going to make the American news. They're not going to have a fuck what's going to be.
Minority, we're kind of still living in the wake of colonial violence and of state-led violence that the world was kind of built with black people in mind at the bottom. Like, it wasn't like, okay, like these will be the leaders, these are the people that we're like uplifting. And I'm really conscious of my work and where it sits and how I'm not trying to directly address those issues, but inadvertently it will. More so, I'm trying to write about the black experience from the inside looking outwards. Like, I'm trying to write from inside the circle. I'm trying to write for black people to be able to see themselves in a way and to really embrace their fullness, embrace.
$750 Honda bonus. Ontario is something we can all be proud of. No fees for 60 months, taxes extra.
Are paying out millions of dollars in bonuses to their top executives after COVID-19 boosted sales over the past year. Both Canadian Tire and Loblaws saw a lot of business. The chains were allowed to remain open in Ontario and benefited from a big demand for their products, but profits didn't miss expectations as expenses rose. Globe and Mail reports, though, the Canadian Tire's CEO,
the two worst companies out there. Loblaws, Canadian Tire, Tim Hortons, I think Pizza, the four worst companies out there.
G. Weston made $3.5 million, down from 2019, but his bonus was $648,000. This, of course, comes as many critics take aim at these companies for not doing more to increase the salaries of their frontline workers. Loblaws, for example, instituted so-called pandemic pay last spring, but withdrew it a few months after the pandemic began. Canadian Tire stock closed up 0.5%, $195. Loblaws up 6 cents at $69.94. All right, meantime, earnings in after the bell from IBM, and it was a beat by Big Blue for its second quarter. Company with earnings per share of $1.77, revenue of $17.7 billion, and the stock was up 4% as a result.
$17.7 billion.
The Dow fell 123 points to 34,077. S&P down 22. The Nasdaq down 137. TSX lower down 146 points to 19,204. Peloton stock down 7.25%. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission issuing a warning about the company's treadmill. Tesla down 7.3% after two people were killed in a Texas crash involving a Tesla Model. Neither were in the driver's seat, so there's questions about the autopilot mode there. Canadian dollar down to 79.76 cents U.S. This is 680 News.
The Hyundai Advantage sales event is one of our biggest events of the year, so we're checking all the boxes. Lease from 0.9% or finance from 0% on select models. Check. Don't pay for 90 days on all models. Check that. More of the comfort and safety features you want. That's a check. And a 5-year comprehensive limited warranty. Totally a check. Enjoy these advantages during the Hyundai Advantage sales event. Conditions apply. Visit HyundaiCanada.com or contact your dealer for details.
You've been at home for a while. Your office is at home. Your gym is at home. Your social life is at home. Virtually. Dining out is now dining in. It's time to invest in your health and sanity with a relaxing massage chair from Relaxa-Care, Canada's massage chair specialists. Choose from a huge selection of chairs, including L-track models, full body and luxury massage models, and enjoy deep relaxation at home 24/7. Now, being stuck at home doesn't need to be so stressful. Order today at relaxacare.ca.
In Kitchener, it's overcast at 6 degrees. In Newmarket, overcast at 8. And in Richmond Hill, you're seeing overcast skies at 8 degrees. In Toronto, it's 9 degrees with rain showers. 6:80 news time, 10 o'clock.
Toronto's #1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is 680 News. It's Monday, April 19th. Good evening. I'm Scott Burnett.
I'm Michelle Morton. Here's what's making news this hour.
The Trudeau government looks to spend its way out of the pandemic. $101 billion in new spending in the federal budget, including a national child care program with a deficit of more than $350 billion.
Opposition leaders say they're disappointed in this budget, quickly demanding changes, and some are threatening to vote against it if there's no flexibility from the Trudeau Liberals.
The jury is deliberating the fate of Derek Chauvin, the former officer charged in George Floyd's death. The White House preparing for potential unrest.
If you're 35 years of age or older and live in one of 5 York Region hotspots, you're eligible for a COVID vaccine. While the province says it's expecting delays in deliveries of the AstraZeneca vaccine. The Maple Leafs' Zach Hyman will miss it.
And while the Liberals, being a minority government, the opposition could trigger an election, polls mercy.
The
NDP has already said that they likely wouldn't bring the government down, that they don't want an election. Safely be able to vote against this budget than, for example, the NDP, because they're not at risk of bringing the government down with just the Conservatives alone. We'll see how they react to what is actually in the document when they have a chance to look at it. But when you look at the country right now, and when you look at what happened in Land and Labrador, there's just really a feeling among MPs from all ridings that there's no appetite for an election. So while this will still serve as very much being a political election document that the Liberals will go into what could be a summer or fall election with, the chance of the government coming down on this is relatively low. But remember, it is always still there. This is a minority and anything could happen.
Well, meanwhile, to provincial matters next, and Queen's Park weathering a storm of complaints and controversy tonight, and all of it touched off by new and that is, unveiled on Friday. Rules Matthew Bingley has more on that.
House Leader Paul Calandra claims last week's introduction of sweeping police powers was meant.
We made a decision based on trying to really get people to realize just how important it is that they stay home.
In question period, NDP motions for paid sick leave and time off for vaccinations were shot down. The province once again passing the ball to the federal government. The head of Ontario's Science Advisory Table says that's a mistake.
If this continues to be just this bargaining sort of mentality, and assigning blame, it simply doesn't work.
Dr. Peter Uni says the solution to helping those already disproportionately affected by the pandemic shouldn't be to increase inequity further.
Well, Toronto's Chief Medical Officer of Health said she wouldn't be commenting on the province's latest measures brought in over the weekend, but Dr. Eileen Davila admitted more still needs to be done. Rules Dave Woodard with more there.
Toronto's top doctor says while the provincial science table believes we need more vaccines per capita to deal with new cases, Dr. Davila says targeting vaccines to the hotspots and those at highest risk can bring down new case numbers.
Doing that will make a difference to every person who lives in Toronto.
Dr. Davila also didn't shy away from something the province has yet to address, making sure people are taken care of when they're sick.
We also need provisions to allow people to stay apart. If the paid sick days.
She adds that even if it's just a temporary measure to make sure that people aren't going to work when they shouldn't be. Dave Woodard, Global News.
And confusion is mounting tonight over possible delays to upcoming AstraZeneca vaccine shipments to Ontario. Now, earlier today, Premier Doug Ford's office said it was told by the federal government to prepare for delays to 2 shipments of the vaccine expected later this month and next. Federal officials say Canada is expecting over 4 million doses.
Do we make the international news?
From the Russian firm Rosatom for a multi-billion euro contract to build a new unit at the Dukovany nuclear power plant. Czech authorities also said they would no longer consider buying the Russian Sputnik V coronavirus vaccines. The former U.S. Vice President, Walter Mondale, has died at his home in Minneapolis at the age of 93. Mr. Mondale was President Jimmy Carter's running mate in 1970.
This is Charles Adler tonight.
Here is Charles Adler.
I'm Charles Adler. It's another great night for Canadian Bomb Exchange. I promise to talk extensively and review aspects extensively
of today's budget, first budget in a couple of years. But before that, do you mind if I just share a human moment with you? My God, I know that people slag the net, and social media, and sometimes we've got Harry Goldkind, one of our loyal, good bud guests, lawyer, commentator from Toronto, who likes to call it anti-social media. And I've said things about it a lot worse than that. But there are times when it's all worth it. And I guess I saw this about a half hour ago. I haven't gotten over it because it says so much to us about life in general and about life during the pandemic.
But opposition leaders beg to differ. Conservative leader Aaron O'Toole calls it a massive letdown and takes issue with the Liberal plan for $10 a day childcare.
I prefer letting parents be in the driver's seat.
Bloc Québécois leader Yves-François Blanchet wants to see more supports for seniors and transfers to the provinces.
We are prepared to vote against the budget.
NDP leader Jagmeet Singh is also disappointed, but his party will back the budget to avoid thrusting Canadians into an election during the third wave of COVID-19. Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
6:80 news time, 10:06. Happening now in Minneapolis, the murder trial of Derek Chauvin is now in the hands of the jury as peaceful protesters take to the streets. 680's Karen Sewell joins us live with more. Karen.
Yeah, Michelle, the jury has retired for the night. As you mentioned, peaceful protesters gathering outside the courthouse tonight. With the fate of Derek Chauvin now in the hands of 12 jurors. In closing arguments, the defense told the jury there was no evidence Chauvin intentionally applied unnecessary force against George Floyd. The prosecution attacked that argument.
George Floyd begged until he could speak no more, and the defendant continued.
The Minnesota National Guard is on alert in anticipation of possible unrest. The White House says it's been in touch with the local authorities.
Of course, our objective is to ensure there is space for peaceful protest.
President Biden will reportedly address the nation after the verdict. Reporting live, I'm Karen Sewell.
Here with Home News Radio, 680 News at 10:07. Well, on the vaccine front, York Region Public Health is lowering its vaccine age limit in specific hotspots. Those as those 40 and older begin to register for.
Lola and him would have celebrated their 75th wedding anniversary.
What?
And then he pauses, clenches his fist a little bit, to try to gain some strength. This is what people do when they're feeling weak. After saying that if Lola were with me this past November, it would have been our 75th anniversary. He clenches his fist and says, and I still love her. And I still love her. And for me, today, those were the 5 most beautiful words that I heard. And I thank Rex Chapman who sent this video out there. And if you've got Twitter, just go to my timeline. That's Charles Astor. You'll see very, very close to the top. I thank him.
The test positivity rate. 680's Irene Precklett has the details.
4,447 new cases. Not a record, but the 10.5 testing positivity rate today is 2,202 people in the hospital, 755 of those in the ICU, 116 of those on ventilators, all records. Dr. Lawrence Lowe is Peel's top doctor. He says the case counts and hospitalizations in the region are the worst they've been since the pandemic started. He's urging everyone who is eligible to get vaccine is offered to them first.
One of the things that we don't have the luxury of right now is time. And at our transmission rates the way they are, the longer you delay getting a vaccine, that is additional time that you're unprotected against this virus.
For those hesitant about the AstraZeneca vaccine, Dr. Lowe points out that vaccine is what helped the UK get out of the third wave. I'm Irene Precklett.
We'll check gas prices in 30 seconds.
Your news now on your radio, online, and on your smart speaker.
Play 680 News.
Here's where I've had much more latitude, much more freedom to do.
The bank has approved you at a 1.55% rate.
I enjoy being able to share some human stuff with you that's outside the darned news cycle. So the NDP used to talk about a minimum wage of $15 an hour, and Liberals mocked it, they opposed it, they ran against it. Trudeau ran against it. Today they adopted it as part of the budget, $15 minimum wage. It's not as big a deal now because in most provinces the minimum wage has hit close to that. But anyway, there it is. So the Liberals have adopted it. NDP have talked about national child care ever since I was a child. And the Liberals mocked it at one point, and then they opposed it, and then for many years they started paying lip service to it. Today,
yes, bro, we see the Trudeau knocking up
Freeland budget.
Up and down. You're
They
very
adopted
skilled
it.
child molester.
National child
We're
care is
able to
coming.
find some
Billions
scripts
of
and install
dollars
them
every
on your
year
phone.
for national child care. Within 5 years, the promise is that national child care, that child care anywhere in this country will be no more than $10 a day, which is what it has been in Quebec for a number of years now. It was once said that the NDP are Liberals in a hurry, and I guess one could say today that what the Liberals are NDPers who just want to do it a little more slowly. But one thing you've got to say about the Liberals, they have timing. If you're going to bring in childcare, you bring it in now, because we're having a so-called she-session, which means most of those who've lost jobs in the last year during the pandemic have been women. Support industry, service industries, tourist industry, hospitality industry, relatively low-paid work done mainly by women. And these women want to get back in the workforce, no doubt. They want to get better jobs as well. But no doubt child care is an issue for many of them, and there's the Liberal Party guaranteeing child care, and the Conservatives may want to campaign against that for fiscal reasons. But I do think that they run against child care in this era at their political peril. And there you have it. There's my serious touch on today's number one issue. Let me give you a few slivers of the Deputy Prime Minister, the Finance Minister, Canada's first ever female Finance Minister, Chrystia Freeland, on childcare.
This is not an effort that will deliver instant gratification. We are building something that, of necessity, must be constructed collaboratively and for the long term. But I have confidence in us. I have confidence that we are a country that believes in investing in our future, in our children, and in our young parents. Here is our goal. 5 years from now, parents across the country should have access to high-quality early learning and childcare for an average of $10 a day. I make this promise to Canadians today, speaking as your finance minister and as a working leader. We will get it done.
One day after a violent mob stormed the U.S. Capitol. What a stroke that killed the 42-year-old. SICKLY collapsed January 6th and died in the hospital the following day. The United States Capitol Police releasing a statement saying they accept the findings, but that it does not change the fact Officer SICKLY died in the line of duty, courageously defending Congress and the Capitol. Lionel Moise, ABC News.
We'll check your headlines in just 60 seconds. 680
You
News.
told us somebody hit him in the head with a fire extinguisher.
Caleb. Hi there. Caleb loves speaking in the third person.
Caleb sure does.
Caleb also loves his girlfriend, Jenny.
I'm going to make Jenny my wife.
Caleb is a romantic.
Well, that was the
If you
third
feel it's
person,
too
was it?
expensive, it shouldn't be done, make your point. You feel the Conservatives should run against it, feel free to say that. You want to think the Conservatives would be politically foolish to run against it, because the Conservatives need women votes badly. And women, by a huge majority, support childcare. Not just women who need childcare, just women in general support childcare. Men over the age of 50, not so much, which is the Conservative base. Yes, they've got women as well. Many of them
It's called
over 50.
transference because you're a
But it's the males over
psychopath who
50
only
that are the
stares
most
like this at people.
reliable votes for Conservatives.
I can't help but notice
But at this
what's
point, I
happening
just
on the
want to
screen.
put this on pause. Take it to the national kitchen table. What do you think of the Liberals deciding, after all these years as they say paying lip service, to get serious, to spend billions and billions of dollars? I understand it's not their money. I understand it's our money. I understand the taxes when they get all that.
Extending the emergency wage subsidy through September and possibly November, and new taxes will also be focused, including luxury items, big tech companies, and cigarettes, which go up $4 a carton at midnight tonight. Peaceful protesters have gathered inside a Minneapolis courthouse after the jury in the Derek Chauvin murder trial have now been sequestered to come up to a verdict. No evidence, rather the
I thought you said they retired.
Arguments were made earlier today.
They were sequestered earlier.
Have begun buzzing and beeping over the evening as cell service has started to call back after being down nationwide for pretty much the whole day. In a statement, Rogers CTO apologized, adding that today's disruptions were unacceptable. Rogers is the parent company of this radio station. Time for 680 Sports, and from Sportsnet 590 The Fan, it's Andy McNamara.
Let's begin with the NHL scoreboard.
Oh, well, this is interesting.
One 877-899-9898. That's Canadian Commons, the greatest country on earth. This is Charles Eckler tonight.
Don't miss your daily fix of Canadian Commons.
Where's
680 News Time, 10:18.
At Queen's Park, the premier was MIA, leaving his
drive is now.